What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. So we got some big news from the Fed and Jerome Powell, the head of the Fed. And I'm going to let you hear directly from them. I'll let you hear Jerome Powell speak here for a few minutes, and we'll go over their decision here today. And this is going to affect pretty much all Americans and the federal government, which is paying about $1 trillion per year in interest. And this is also going to affect your credit cards, your mortgage, your refinances, your car loans, your personal loans, and pretty much everything. And pretty much every single buddy in America who knows what's going on has been waiting for this. And President Donald Trump has been putting massive pressure here on Jerome Powell and the Fed to lower interest rates. And I'll let you hear from Jerome Powell and the Fed here right now. So let's jump right in. We are live right now here on the YouTube It's Jimmy Show. Let me know if you can see and hear me. Type yes in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. You can let me know your city, state, or even your country, as we have people tuning in here from all around the globe. Don't forget to hit that like button for me here. And if you haven't yet, subscribe down below so you don't miss out on future videos. I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here on a daily basis. Help me reach 500,000 subscribers. We just passed over 230 million people watching our YouTube channel. If you're watching us on another platform, make sure you subscribe to YouTube It's Jimmy. Okay, so we just had President Donald Trump here in my about two videos ago announced that he is for tariff rebate checks or tariff stimulus checks. So I'll link you to that video here in a few moments here. You can watch that video next. That was some big news. So President Donald Trump is actually trying to do a lot of different things here to stimulate the economy. And one of the things he wants is lower interest rates. But he's got this guy, Jerome Powell, in his way, who, ironically enough, he nominated in his first term of presidency, and President Biden kept him in. So here's what the Fed, Jerome Powell, the head of the Fed, had to say here today. Take a listen.
Recent indicators suggest that growth of economic activity has moderated. GDP rose at a 1.2% pace in the first half of this year, down from 2.5% last year. Although the increase in the second quarter was stronger at 3%, focusing on the first half of the year helps smooth through the volatility in the quarterly figures related to the unusual swings in net exports. The moderation in growth largely reflects a slowdown in consumer spending. In contrast, business investment in equipment and intangibles picked up from last year's pace. Activity in the housing sector remains weak. In the labor market, conditions have remained solid. Payroll job gains averaged 150,000 per month over the past 3 months. The unemployment rate at 4.1% remains low and has stayed in a narrow range over the past year. Wage growth has continued to moderate while still outpacing inflation. Overall, a wide set of indicators suggests that conditions in the labor market are broadly in balance and consistent with maximum employment. Inflation has eased significantly from its highs in mid-2022, but remains somewhat elevated relative to our 2% longer-run goal. Estimates based on the Consumer Price Index and other data indicate that total PCE prices rose 2.5% over the 12 months ending in June, and that, excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 2.7%. These readings are little changed from the beginning of the year, although the underlying composition of price changes has shifted. Services inflation has continued to ease, while increased tariffs are pushing up prices in some categories of goods. Near-term measures of inflation expectations have moved up on balance over the course of this year on news about tariffs, as reflected in both market-based and survey-based measures. Beyond the next year or so, however, most measures of longer-term expectations remain consistent with our 2% inflation goal. Our monetary policy actions are guided by our dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. At today's meeting, the committee decided to maintain the target range for the federal funds rate at 4.25% to 4.5% and to continue reducing the size of our balance sheet. We will continue to determine the appropriate stance of monetary policy based on the incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks. Changes to government policies continue to evolve, and their effects on the economy remain uncertain. Higher tariffs have begun to show through more clearly to prices of some goods, but their overall effects on economic activity and inflation remain to be seen. A reasonable base case is that the effects on inflation could be short-lived, reflecting a one-time shift in the price level. But it is also possible that the inflationary effects could instead be more persistent, and that is a risk to be assessed and managed. Our obligation is to keep longer-term inflation expectations well anchored and to prevent a one-time increase in the price level from becoming an ongoing inflation problem. For the time being, we're well positioned to learn more about the likely course of the economy and the evolving balance of risks before adjusting our policy stance. We see our current policy stance as appropriate to guard against inflation risks. We're also attentive to risks on the employment side of our mandate. In coming months, we will receive a good amount of data that will help inform our assessment of the balance of risks and the appropriate setting of the federal funds rate. At this meeting, the committee continued its discussions as part of our 5-year review of our monetary policy framework. We focused on potential revisions to our statement on longer-run goals and monetary policy strategy, and are on track to wrap up any modifications by late summer. The Fed has been assigned 2 goals for monetary policy: maximum employment and stable prices. We remain committed to supporting maximum employment, bringing inflation sustainably to our 2% goal, and keeping longer-term inflation expectations well anchored.
So, the Fed keeps borrowing costs high despite Trump's push for cuts. They decided to not lower interest rates today, and President Donald Trump is not happy at all. He is calling for Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell to resign immediately, and this actually was not a unanimous vote. Remember that Jerome Powell does not make the decision himself. It's the board of Fed presidents that vote on this. It was not a unanimous decision. 2 of the Fed presidents voted to lower interest rates. And the last time this happened, I read was something like, I don't have it in front of me, but it was something like 19 or 20 years ago or something like that. And it's been dissension in the ranks here. So Trump wants Jerome Powell, the head of the Fed, out, and he wants to replace him. And I could make a bet that if there was a different Fed chief in there that was calling in these meetings for lower interest rates, lower interest rates, lower interest rates, it'd be good for the government, good for the average American, which would lower credit card interest rates, lower car loan interest rates, lower home loan interest rates, lower refinance interest rates, lower all these interest rates for Americans, which the average American is struggling per all these interest rates, and they would be paying less interest on all these things. If there was a new Fed chief in there who was saying this stuff in the meeting and helping sway their votes, we would probably almost immediately see lower interest rates. I mean, it's just my guess, but that is probably what would happen. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Do you think we need lower interest rates, or should interest rates stay the same or even higher? You heard Jerome Powell say in his speech there that tariffs were raising prices on goods. That's pretty much exactly what he said. You could go back and listen to the exact wording if you want to. You could rewind the video. But that's exactly what he said. And we are getting confirmation from various retailers that they're raising prices. Remember that right now tariffs on goods coming from China, as an example, are 55% higher, which means a retailer, remember there's millions of goods that come from China, are 55%. So that means if there were no tariffs at all, because Trump is, the one putting the tariffs on there, they would be paying 55% lower cost of goods, okay? And Trump is saying that if Russia doesn't end the war in a few days, It's going to be 100% for any country that does goods or does business with Russia. So that's China. And I also seen India as well here. So there's going to be a lot of goods, and that's like smartphones too. So like Apple has their smartphones, Samsung too, pretty much like all phones, millions of goods that are imported from China. Look at your clothing, see where it's made. India, China. I mean, all this stuff, right? Like any phone. Like there's no phones made in America. So like all sorts of things. Like we're not just picking like one or two things. We're talking about like millions of products. So yeah, I mean, we're talking about serious stuff here. So we're talking about multiple different things here. Interest rates on credit cards, like 30%, 35% for a lot of people. Like a lot of people are like, wow, this is crazy. Like we want lower interest rates. And the Fed is saying we can't lower interest rates because of these tariffs. We don't know what they're going to do. We're starting to see prices on goods go higher. That's exactly what he said in the video. This isn't coming from me. This is coming from the Fed. And they're saying we can't lower interest rates because of goods going up because of tariffs. And so that's happening. And Trump is saying that if Putin doesn't end the war, that they're going to have 100% tariffs on Russia, which we don't really do a lot of business with Russia, but any country that does business with Russia as well. So he's really trying to put the pressure on Putin to end the war. And I can't blame Trump for that because Russia's got nukes and he's really trying to figure out any way to get Putin to actually listen. So, I mean, I can't blame Trump for that because Putin doesn't listen to nobody. He's literally just out there and Putin just like, I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm just going to keep going at this war and I don't care about nobody. I'm just going to, who cares? Like, I'm just doing whatever I want, right? So Trump's really in a tough position with that because, I mean, he said he was going to end the war on day one and here we are like 6+ months into his presidency and it's still going on, right? And Putin's like, yeah, I'm not listening to nobody, right? So Trump's in a tough position with Putin because Putin don't listen. So he's trying to figure out some ways to end the war. So that's really a tough position. You let me know in the comment section what you would do to get Putin to end the war. Because, you know, he's got the whole nukes thing. So that's really tough. Really tough. So he's going to try this approach. See, and hopefully it will be short-lived because Americans are the ones that pay these higher goods on tariffs, but other countries are going to put pressure on Russia to end the war, like China and stuff are going to be like, hey, you know, people don't want to buy our goods because they're more expensive now, and companies are like, hey, we have to stop making orders because they're more expensive. So they're going to put pressure on their president to say to Russia, end the war. So hopefully this works. 2025 is literally as crazy as it has been since 2020. I've been saying to my viewers here, if you've been watching me, you can't make this stuff up. Like we thought since the pandemic, 2020 was crazy. And then 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, now 2025. It's like, when are things going to calm down and settle? And here we are with two major world wars, you know, and, you know, the United States is involved here. We literally just bombed Iran. And some people think that like World War III, like the United States is bombing Iran. We're involved in both wars. And some people think that this is World War III. That's the, you know, there's so many wars going on here. And the United States is involved in both of them, and neither of them are ending. And it's crazy. It's absolutely just crazy here. And it's like, when are they going to end? How are they going to end? Are they going to end? Wow. 2025 has just been absolutely just insane. So my thoughts and prayers go out to everybody, across the globe dealing with everything. It's just, wow. Yeah, so let me know your thoughts here in the comment section, and I will keep you up to date here. Share this video with anybody that needs to hear this video information, and share this video on social media so we can get the word out and get this information out. Make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on future videos. I'll have a big video for you tomorrow here with some really big information that I got for you. So make sure you tune into that. Click the bell icon after you subscribe so you get notifications when we go live here, and I will keep you up to date. Click here to see President Donald Trump and new information about his Trump stimulus tariff rebate checks. Big information there. So click on that video next.